All right. Yeah. Says live. Let me see.
Did you ever find out what those other comments were?
Uh, which I don't know.
Those ones that when the mirror was up.
Oh, well, that might be all right. So this is. I'm trying to look at the. I'm trying to set this up so I can see the live stream on the tablet as well, just in case this cuts out. We were just talking earlier and just hanging out, talking deep earlier, and then we just kind of wanted to do it recorded. We figured while we were talking, but that was earlier. Now I don't even know what I want to even start with. Oh, but anyway, yeah. So this, my camera is just gonna go and it's just gonna live stream if I can find on it here too. So it's just gonna live stream and then what Ron's recording because I'm Ron and this is Ron, my son. So whatever he gets from this, he'll be able to put it together a little smoother. So mine will just be this long whatever.
Yeah, that's what it is. This is another video added into my content.
Oh, I can see it. Okay. Oh, good. All right. Yeah. So that now I'll be able to see. Now, if my camera shuts off, I don't need a mirror set up behind it like what happened in the other video where it shut off on me and then I was trying to do it backwards. Didn't realize I flipped the camera and it was looking through the front facing camera at the mirror reflection. Thought that was kind of funny how it worked out though. So kind of like how it worked out on that last one by accident. So earlier we were talking about spirituality, kind of what ifs. Like what happens next? What happens if you don't develop a soul, your own soul, or get control of your own thoughts and feelings and spiritual energy while you're here? Like what happens recycle wise? Does that happen? And I to me it does make sense that folks that haven't grasped onto their spiritual self and develop that and kind of break out of the beliefs, all the different beliefs from wherever in life, it doesn't matter where, they haven't turned those into knowings. It seems like that energy, that deception energy is growing within them due to those false beliefs, whether they be so-called good beliefs or bad beliefs. To me, it's belief and it's not knowing. So that's the internal struggle I kind of feel that's going on within everyone else out there because it was a big one for me, that internal struggle of not knowing until I went deep inside to try and find some knowing
Yeah,
on all levels at once, so to speak.
yeah. That's what I wanted to bring up too. Was the whole the whole importance of spirituality and I done lost myself.
Yeah, just try a little louder, maybe just like engage like you talking to someone
Yeah,
about what you wanted to say,
yeah.
just a little louder, right? Maybe because just trying to give advice because this is hard. Like I ain't trying.
Oh
Yeah,
no, yeah, I got you.
it's tough trying to do this like this to try and get your own organic thoughts, words, and feelings out. Oh, especially this is why. Not to cut you off, but
No,
just
no.
here's why to me. To me, once my own, I was able to expand my own consciousness, my own perception, so to speak, and put together a broad overview very quickly of things and concepts, and they start to meld and flow together. My mind was working and looking from a place to where words could only express one thing at a time. And the way I was trying to express it, I was trying to express this broad, expansive overview of interrelated concepts by jumping from concept to concept that to me were all perfectly fine, interwoven tapestry of what I'm looking at in here. But in words, they came out very disjointed and crazy sounding. because I couldn't convey that whole tapestry, that overview I was kind of coming from at the time. And this was like couple 2 years ago, a little bit more than that now, but about 2.5 now. I keep saying 2 years, but it might be about, it doesn't matter, but
Yeah, that's really what I'm trying to work on is speaking outward, speaking my inner truth, my inner knowledge outward in an understandable format. Yeah, because God, if I let it go, it would come out crazy too.
you should do it louder because your one video you had to bump up
The audio, yeah,
the
yeah,
audio. Yeah, so you
yeah.
should,
So
yeah,
trying to
maybe.
speak louder, yeah,
Yeah.
speak louder, more clear.
Especially the volume part of your voice. Yeah, more volume. Your speakers seem to have a hard time on this phone, maybe as part of it too. Like, I don't know. Especially sit at
Yeah,
distance
yeah,
from it.
yeah.
Ah. Okay, so got to get on to something. So the spirituality. What was it that we were talking about? Oh, it was just about the not learning lessons here during this life. The life energy, our own individual, whoever we are, our own life energy, if we don't fully grasp that, understand that, know that, and develop and grow that ourselves, to me, we're missing out on a lot of this, just the whole experience of life and reality itself. And to not know things about life and nature, especially our own nature, our own organic body and its parts and how they function in the thoughts and how they're not they're not these physical meaty things, thoughts. They're energetic things that we can manifest, and the feelings are not either these meaty things that you can grasp and touch, yet your body feels these things and thinks these thoughts. They're not physical things. It's the spiritual aspect of us within us. And it's knowing that part and knowing what it is and knowing that it's not just physical. That's the part that has to me, be known in each individual, for each individual, to then bloom, so to speak, from the inside and have their own, very own truth, their very own spirit, their very own soul. Like, because until you know you have your very own soul, your very own piece of infinity, well, you're only believing what others are telling you. And that's a trap. To me, that's the big trap that keeps folks in these looking outward things and playing the game that's been set up for them by others.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most people, yeah, haven't gone in and done that inner spiritual realization, and the reason behind that is because of this place doesn't teach you about it. It's not set up. We don't come up in a society that, or yeah, in a society that teaches us about that.
I wasn't
wasn't
taught.
either.
Though I saw the things everywhere and I saw the
Yeah.
spirituality. I even I read pretty in depth into a lot of spiritual things and texts, and I really did before too. However, like has been said, and a very good way to put it is, I didn't have the eyes to see what I was seeing, or the ears to hear what I was hearing, or the heart to feel what I was feeling, not fully. And my mind couldn't get what it could have gotten because I was trapped by those physical senses all the time and run by them instead of running them. My own physical senses in this physical world, I was run by them. Along with that, I was run by wants. Want for this, want for that, outside wants. So Yep, that's what for me. Yeah, you can come in. It was, yeah. We're just talking. It wasn't a place of full control. It really wasn't for so long until I grabbed control like fully, and I really didn't even know what that meant. Even at the time when it was happening for me, I didn't know what was happening. But that began the healing process for me. It really did.
Yep, and anyone, it seems that anyone can grasp that right now.
Yeah,
Just by
I
sitting
agree.
down, it would seem like, for me at least, and anyone can grasp it right now if they were to just sit down and just think, be like, all right, just start looking at things for yourself from the inside.
You can
And then
feel.
and feel it and grasp onto that. Don't let yourself get distracted with the many distractions this place has to offer.
Yeah, it has to be really in that spot inside where there's no words, where the thoughts aren't intruding anymore. No outside feelings are intruding. It's all just the internal peace and silence and then what comes from that. Because once you can get that peace, and you are totally silent in that peace wherever you're sitting, whenever it might be, or standing, it can happen anytime. You can find that centered, present moment state of peace just for an instant and then stretch that to forever because that's what it is. Our spiritual energy is infinite. And that's to me, knowing that now, because the way I might say some things, let me just, and this was a preface I was going to give earlier, I was just going to let the words come and go and just have at it. So without kind of, if I start to do that jumping around concept to concept, I promise I will be circling back to somewhere. And that somewhere is just that central point within each individual, hopefully for them to realize and go, wait a minute, you're talking about me? Yes, you, whoever you are. Yes, go inside their central point of peace in the present moment and go, bang, I'm right here in reality right now. But I'm also infinite at the same time. So how does this work? So to me, feeling that deeply inside myself, feeling that really really forced me to re-examine everything and go, I have to take something from this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do it again. Although, because my experience meant nothing if I gained no wisdom from it. And especially now, to me, I also know and feel now that if I don't share as openly as I can and as to the point as I can to try and help just with my own experience and not for any want of my own or anything where I'm seeking others' energy, whether that's in the form of the fake belief in currency, energy in that form or fashion, or some kind of adoration or worship. None of that. No, no. To me, like I know that the purpose for me, and I could I could say others might feel similarly, is to use my own energy in a positive, caring way outwardly, regardless of what I get back, because I don't want anything back. Because I know that here, while I'm here in this physical world, it is a mess, and it's set up to be a mess. So you don't find yourself, you don't find balance, you don't find equilibrium in things in the present moment, and are able to walk through this life as an active, living character in it, playing your own character fully, not being played as the character of someone else in their little game or little whatever part they like someone else would like you to play out type of thing. That's what it is for me. And that big profound realization of that in all of us, that makes us all equal, like the words have been written down to say and then stepped all over, because the written word has just become pile upon pile upon pile of other people's words saying all kinds of stuff to tell other folk what's right and wrong according to their opinion. And that's what it is. It's an opinion. So then you have the choice. Do you believe their opinion? Because if you believe, well, now you're stuck in a trap that they have constructed with their own opinion. Now you believe it. And if you don't know it to be true or false, that's the trap of belief, because you don't know if it's true or false. You only believe it. Not to say you personally, whoever might hear this at some point, I speak in that senses because that's how I felt and was talking to myself when I was forced to really re-examine my own reality. I was really, things were coming to me in that fashion. Like really, it was, hey, you don't know this. You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know. You don't even know what you are. And yeah, it really, that shut me down to the present moment the fastest, was getting just how fooled I was and how much of a fool I had become. And then from that point of that realization that hurt so bad and was so painful and so dark, also so full of light and so freeing and such a place to grow from. That's why I'm convinced everyone has that place to grow from, whether their experience has been a little bit lighter, a little bit darker, a little bit whatever. That's still there. Trace all the way back to the beginning of you. And then realize that wasn't the beginning. And then go forward to the end of you and know that that will not be the end of you. Yeah.
I think that is like I'm convinced that's the key to this place here. That is the point of this reality, is to discover this. Because after, yeah, that's just,
And then to help others.
yeah, yeah.
To me too, it
Yeah.
does. It does seem like the overall goal, because it feels the most peaceful. Yeah, it feels the most all-encompassing and just full of knowing and full of care and full of the want for harmony and the want for that for others. Not to try and sell it to others, to try and freely give the words to others in such a way from your own mouth, your own, what you've put together organically, your own word, mine, I'm talking
Yeah.
about in the third person, but yeah, to share it though in such a way that hopefully something gets through to the soul or spirit out there and whoever might hear it.
That's the thing too, is most people out there don't realize that this is what they're searching for inside really strongly. This is what they're looking for, and they don't even know it. Because yeah, I mean, I know that's how it was for me. I know that ever since I started looking at things and understanding myself and understanding just how I work and then it helped me understand how everyone else works, which helped me understand a lot of the problems going on. But yeah, before I was so disconnected from my thoughts, my feelings, even my body really, to where like after I started seeing things and relearning myself, my ability to learn, my ability to pay attention, my ability to communicate has increased in a way I never thought would have ever been imaginable in the state of mind that I used to be in. It really is.
Yeah.
It's the key here. It's what you need to find out here.
I'm just standing up to smoke a cigarette, and I don't encourage anyone to start smoking. So that I know I've done it before on the camera, but I'd rather not encourage it. But it's one of my vices. Try not to judge too harshly about it. Stand right here and still talk anyway. Not quite a vice either. It's more, oh, you know what? Yeah, just to go a little further, it's not a vice either. It's the mixture of tobacco for the nicotine, which I know what it does to my body, my nervous system. I know it speeds it up. I know that it is an addictive substance. It's also rolled by me with a little bit of cannabis in it. So when I smoke it, I get my medicinal, cannabis in the smoke form, which it goes along with the oil form I also make. So that's not that I'm smoking out of vice. I just want to explain that a little bit more clearly. And so there are reasons, whether they're good or bad, they're mine. So, so yeah, that's all.
Hey, you're not doing no harm to nobody.
I just don't really want to encourage it though, because boy, I know how that goes.
Yeah,
Looking
yeah.
at stuff
Yep.
on the screen encourages me to do all kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Seeing it on the screen. Yeah. Man.
That's the thing too, is yeah, people are so caught up in these screens too, and if you're looking at the screen, especially for information about life and life, like you're alive right now, like yeah, you're right here. Here's life. Learn it from here. You're not gonna get any good information off those screens.
That sure had
Not
me mesmerized for a
really.
long time.
You'll get the best information from yourself. The best information you put together for yourself.
I agree with you. Yeah, because we all got all this stuff already inside us
Yeah.
from growing up. This from living life. We're full of so much information and experience to draw from. We really are, just no matter who we are, no matter where we are. Yeah. I don't know. It's part of the life experience. You gain it. That's the thing. You gain it. To me, you gain life experience whether you realize it or not. And until you realize the experience you gained, that experience is just sitting off kind of like in this karmic bank vault somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Not to use a reference of bank vault, because I sure do hate the money belief. Not to say hate either, because I don't like that word, because I know the destructive power of language. So, but sometimes my brain gets a little ahead of where my heart's trying to come from. So let me try to rein back a little bit. What was I saying?
Karmic bank
Oh
vault.
yeah. If that life experience, you know what? Yeah, if that life experience really isn't realized, the life experience that's already been accumulated throughout each individual's life until it's been realized, it's like experience points sitting away, for your character. Your character, to go with the leveling up thing, which I so don't like to use certain terms, but in some cases they are so absolutely fitting, and this is one of them. Once you really distill the experience of life into wisdom, you really get it, no matter where you came from. You gain those experience points, so to speak, and you level up in mind, body, and spirit. If you let yourself go inside and calmly get the lessons of the life you've led up to this point. At least I'm convinced. And when I say you, I only say that because it worked for me. So I'm only trying to relate it.
Yeah, I say you pretty often too, like that.
Yeah.
That made me think of the other thing too. Is like, now we're sitting here saying like, yeah, go inside yourself and find this spirit. It's like how do you do that? I was just gonna I'd already said I suggested sitting down really and like really clearing your mind, get rid of your priorities for whatever the rest of the day, however you got to do it, and sitting down and just thinking, observing reality, observe your own thoughts, observe your own feelings, observe your consciousness really and how profound it is, because that's something I never took the time to do. And had I just done that, I would have seen what I see now. But it brought me up to it also reminded me of the food too, and the toxins you take that also really help or stop you from seeing that as well.
Ooh, louder.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. They do stop you from seeing that, yeah.
I just bumped my volume up.
Well, but on this one though.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
Okay, the toxins, yeah. The toxins that really prevent, for me, the toxins that prevented me were the massive amounts of vaccines I had intaken, the SSRI, the pills, the drugs, the chemically imbalanced, creating, mind-altering drugs for depression and this and that and the other. Those screwed me up so bad, my perception of reality and feeling and brokenness inside. I was full of disconnected energies. I guess, to put it in the best way I can. Because when I realized just how broken I was, and I started to heal and put these things together and look back and figure out the why, what happened, that's what I saw. Was it started out from, like I said before, day one. I had no choice. I got pumped full of vaccines, which already cut me off right then. And then from then, looking back now, I see that all the chemical concoctions of toxins that are packaged as food and that are full of different metals, this and that and the other, the same metals we breathe in that are sprayed in the air. All those things, when they all combine and those metals seep through the blood-brain barrier into the brain, they do indeed affect the thoughts of the mind, because now the mind is scattered, because now the mind is surrounded by all these electromagnetic frequencies of things like these devices here that are emitting them right now as we speak. Yet, now, I don't get the scattered anymore, because there's not this interaction of weird particles within me with all of these frequencies. Yet these frequencies are still doing damage to me at the cellular level, and I know that. However, they are not damaging my spirit anymore, because I'm not under the control of any of these devices, and would be fine if they all disappeared right now.
Yep.
I would be perfectly happy. And that's only because I know the needs of life for my life are water, food, shelter, spirituality. Well, I can find water, food, and make a little shelter anywhere I would like. I found spirituality. My needs are complete. Is what I'm trying to say. So to me, if all these destructive systems of enslavement that exist were to collapse, it would be okay. I know it would, because I know there's plenty of other folk that know how to just live simply and normally and naturally and peacefully with nature, and get water, get food, make shelter, and just be at peace with things. So to me, it can all, even if it's not those thoughts of, oh no, this catastrophe of everything. No, not if everybody keys in and goes, oh wait, let's just do this different. All this stuff set up, let's kind of refurbish, reset, use what's already available, and just kind of, we'll go from there, starting
together.
in the present moment, with openly saying the why, the how we got here, and now how we're going to fix it. I know I'm convinced there's programs like that already ready to go and might be going on right this second, but I'm still waiting to see the public education portion. At what time is all this, whatever, Luciferian, satanic, whatever label you want to put on it, destructive programming, trauma-based mind control programming, when is that going to cease? Along with the repetitive different distractions and lies of materialistic idols and idolatry, when is that going to stop? And we say, okay, let's all call it a day on all the theater. Let's all pretend like we're all regular, normal folk, all on the same level here. We'll all reintroduce ourselves as whoever we are, Ron, whatever, and whoever, and we'll just go from here. I mean, why not? I know it's not quite that simple. I also know the potential is there for it to be. So. Trying to speak up a bit louder too, just a touch.
Yeah. I don't got a loud voice.
There you do. See, that's under your control.
Nothing. I was thinking about something to say. I was gonna bring up the whole meditation thing, but I just don't remember what.
Oh, how to start type of.
Yeah.
How to find that peace and quiet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely try to say that a little louder. What worked for you or whatever. Yeah, if you could, for real, because yours is gonna be different from mine. You know, which be different to someone else's. But yeah, Yeah, that would be good.
I don't know what to say.
How did you start? How did you start when it seemed to you kind of reality crumbled? How did you put it back together? How did you get to where, like, okay, now I know where I'm standing, what I'm seeing is different from what I thought it was. Now what?
I don't know. I was living in Columbus still when like reality started like really shattering around me. I was still going to work. I was still distracted by money. I still had all these things when inside had realized, yeah, inside realized something was wrong and things aren't working naturally or the way that they were intended to be working. So yeah, kind of yeah, it was kind of from then that I started yeah, trying to put it together. And that was what took really some time because it's this is a big thing to put together with all this craziness that's going on outside and how they make everyone look outside for everything
Mm-hmm.
when everything you need you come here with everything you need then knowing.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know
You
what I was
good?
saying. I don't know. I don't even have a point I was getting to. I was just trying to talk.
Yeah. For me, once I saw everything was different to what I thought it was. It really was. It took that going inside, shutting off, and finding myself inside for myself. And like I've said before, it it bears repeating because it was those very things. It was repeating thoughts of belief that had held me locked into these other perceptions of reality that weren't mine. They weren't organic to me, and they weren't organic to nature for that matter. When I really started looking, that's what screwed me up. Is some of these vast constructs I had in my consciousness of how things were supposed to work here, because that's how they were already set up. When I realized that that's not the case, because nature doesn't do this. Nature doesn't build systems of enslavement for itself. It does not. Folk with the intellectual capacity to look at things and look and decide they want to control and possess, they have the capacity to build these systems of enslavement and these ideologies of enslavement and sell them, so to speak, through language or convey these ideas or concepts in such a way as to make it seem like it's something needed when it's not. It is only there to satisfy their want of control because control is not a need either, unless you only consider, for me, control of, for
Yourself.
me right here, right now. Yep, that's all I need to have control of. And what comes out and what I do with me is what I need to control fully. That's what I realized I wasn't fully in control of when I was operating under all these constructs of belief and perceptions of reality. I was operating on belief and it wasn't unknowing. So yeah.
That was a good way to put it.
Yeah, thank you. Yep. Yeah, ain't trying to be all down or anything, because it is. Well, it was a downer at first to be like, what's going on? What do you mean everything's fake? Everything's a lie? What? Yeah, but you know what? What? Like, it's that feeling that goes along with it of knowing that this is not it. This isn't it. There's more after this because there's more before this, and there's more going on right now than I can even comprehend. And I know that. That's why I'm also trying to say, like, hey, I can only try and tell you what I know to be true for me in here coming out. Like, that's it. Because anything about telling you what's true, on a grand scale, because I can speak very clearly and plainly about my life experience here in physical reality and what's happened, what's true and what's not true. Because holy cow-ola, there's a lot of deception. But yeah, as far as the grand scale of things, like what's going on, what is this experience? Is this just a spiritual training ground to see if your energy is worthy, so to speak, to move on to another level of responsibility past this kind of existence? Well, to me, that's good enough. To me, that very well could be what this is, and I'm fine with looking at it just like that, as a training tool, so to speak, a learning experience, no matter what it is. Because, like, what is that? Like I said, yeah, I can't say what it is, and I don't presume to. It's not my place. But for me, looking at it and feeling it the way I feel and the way I act and the way I stay in the present moment and try and gaining more and more from my own experience and what I perceive around me on a moment to moment basis, how, in a very peaceful way. To me, that is the point for me. It was just to do all this, if nothing else, for a training experience, to see if I'm worthy to leave this physical body when my energy is done in this physical body, no matter how that might come about. Can it move on somewhere else? Did my energy gain enough interrelated, interconnected understanding, overstanding of, if nothing else, at least itself and how it affects others, to then be able to be trusted to move on to another form or different form of energy that is even more energetic, that can do even more things, especially knowing the difference between need and want, and the difference between knowing and believing, and knowing the very real cosmic law of cause and effect and how it works. How's it work? It's just cause and effect. To me, I look at myself as an effect of the cause, a cause greater than me that I can't understand, that created this whole place and all of us in it. That's the cause, I'm the effect. Once I realized that had happened to me, however I got that there was indeed more than that, I'm an effect of that. Now, to me, I switched. And I went, now, for me to become fully responsible, animated, and alive in this place with knowing what I know and what I've just felt and what I've just realized about this, and it's in a relationship to all the other folk out there and how they could feel this too, and how peace could descend, so to speak, on the land. To me, it was, what was I saying just before that? I just got lost.
I was there with you.
Oh, oh no.
If peace could descend on the land.
Before that.
Yeah.
To me, anyway, it was something about realizing that and then spreading that. And yeah, I got lost there. Right at a good part, I could feel it. It was a good part. You know what? That's it. That's what happens. So I'll be talking. It'll be like from the soul, so to speak, or the heart. My spirit. I'll be talking. It'll just be flowing in the moment. And then brain up here, brain got key in on something. Be like, hold up. I like what you're saying. Let me take it somewhere right quick. And it got me that time. You know what? Sorry about that. Yeah. It felt good too, and I lost it. Oh well. It'll come back.
Yeah.
It was something about how it was all the point of everything to me, though.
How could you move on?
Oh, how could you move on? Yeah, where was I going from there? Oh, well, anyway, I was going to say, for me and my energy and my experience, I may very well have to repeat this. You know what I mean? I'm not the judge, and that's another point. Is not to be the judge, because none of us are the judge. Oh, cause and effect.
There you go.
So, not that I ain't trying to make crazy magic symbols of infinity and this and that because I'm part of. You know what? Anyway, um, yeah, the cause and the effect. Once I realized that that greater cause, all of us here and all of this is the effect of that greater mother, father, creator. You know, whatever you want to call it. You know, whatever. To me, to grasp full responsibility, physically, mentally, and spiritually of that truth that now I had grasped, I had felt, I had know I had become a part of, because we are all a part of it. I just hadn't realized it yet till I did. I'm a slow learner, slow feeler sometimes, maybe. Made to be so, maybe. Doesn't matter. I got there, got here. Here I am. It was realizing that cause and effect, now I had to become a cause for effect in the real world. And that cause is simply to share the truth I found. That's my only cause, is to share the truth that I have found. And not, like I said, to draw anyone down this label or that label or this angle or that angle. Nope. Some more all-encompassing type of understanding and kind of truth that I found that I am only trying to share to the best of my ability. So
Very nice.
I think that's where I was going.
Yep, very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's all I'm trying to do as well, is and trying to learn this speaking thing a lot more too. Yeah, working on my words, my vocabulary, my rhetoric, my yeah, everything, how I think about things and how I speak them out loud, because yeah, that was a big thing for me too, as I realized when I started to see things is, yeah, I cannot speak worth a bad word.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't speak worth a bad word. I really couldn't convey my thoughts or feelings in any kind of way, because I didn't even understand them in the inside. So yeah, it's a learning process for everyone. It's going to be a learning process for everyone. A growing process.
Yeah, growing process. Yeah, I ain't learning to it, but
Yeah.
oh yeah, but it's so liberating and freeing, and but that doesn't mean liberating and freeing in the fact, or in the meaning of let's go do whatever we want. Not that kind of freeing. It's a freeing of the fear and the worry and the labels and the fighting and the bickering and the nonsense. It's so freeing because you
And
realize just how
expectations.
fake it all is. All the set up fights and groups and different this and that. Argue about this issue or that issue. Which side of it doesn't matter as long as you're arguing. Which issue doesn't matter as long as you're arguing. Like, so to me, like seeing through the nonsensical layers of theater in all of these different, now I'll say aspects of life, because they are aspects or angles of life. And nature doesn't work like that, doesn't work in all these angles that are constructed the way they are. Nature is more flowing. Nature works with itself in harmony, at least it tries. What messes that up? Well, it's when folks start getting all angular on things and start to get their narrow focus driven on, oh, this or that, because me, I want. Yeah, and that causes issues. Has caused a lot of issues.
And a
Oh,
big one, yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say a big one is the want to be right, want their perspective to be true. Yeah, they don't people don't like being wrong. Who likes being wrong? It's a thing, and to be wrong about your whole entire experience, to yeah, admit to yourself that you had been lied to and you had been acting out a whole entire lie, your whole life all the way up till right now.
Ooh,
That's a hard thing that's a hard pill to swallow right there.
ooh, it is.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. It is.
but necessary.
Yeah. And then the thing with that, though,
Applies.
is to realize that the things that were taught and the deceptions that were fallen under, they were already there. They were already taught. So it's not about blaming this teacher, that teacher, or the other, because they simply didn't know either. Because who would? Who would think? I never would have thought being born into this place that my name itself was really literally on my birth certificate, which was a receipt for my energy to be used for some fake currency somewhere. Like, yeah, I really don't care about any of that. I really don't. But just the realization of that name on there was really indeed a slave name on the receipt my mother was given for me by an entity, an organization to use as they saw fit. And then to say that, yep, you are now a part of this organization, whether you want to be or not, doesn't matter. Here's your slave papers and number, your number assigned, here's your whatever. You know, it's weird. It really is. And then at first it was because I had an attachment to that name. I had an attachment to that history. I had an attachment to everything I used to think I was and believe in what I strived to achieve and do. I had to admit that it was all set up. And it wasn't set up by me. That's the thing. It was set up before I got here, and I just played in it. I played out whatever role I chose, and I played a role. I acted out literally, not just figuratively or allegorically, literally, I acted out a life experience based on belief, not knowing. And that was a hard thing for me uh, not to accept, because it came as a acceptance like that, because I was on my way out, like I said before. But health wise, I was, yeah. But anyway, it hit me like a ton of bricks. So accepting it was no problem. I was forced kind of to accept as my reality melted and all the concepts and beliefs melted. I was forced to accept that I had been fooled, and I was playing the role of the fool throughout my life based on my beliefs. But there's also no one to blame. So to me, that's important to know that you can't blame a bunch of folk that are in the same position, were put in the same position as you were. And for a long time before any of us were here, we were all put in those same positions, just like our parents and grandparents and whoever. I don't know the history of this place, and I don't believe most of it. But that's irrelevant to me, to the present moment. While the history itself is very relevant, and the truth would be very, very helpful to get, so everyone could fill all those holes that are inside them of not knowing, like the kind of the backstory of the who, what, why, where, how of all of this from a really honest, truthful, whatever perspective. A very open, just not trying to hide any kind of knowledge, just let everyone know, so everyone doesn't, so folks don't have this not knowing where we come from and get caught up on this different angels and aliens and different dimensions and different this and different that. It keeps them so far outside of this physical reality right here on the ground, that is also a very spiritual reality right here on the ground in the present moment, every moment, that they stay disconnected. That's how I stayed disconnected for so long. So yeah, so what was hard for me wasn't the acceptance, it was the reconciliation of all those beliefs and the distillation of those beliefs into some kind of knowing wherever I could find it, and getting rid of the other. And if it was too much nonsense, discard the whole thing. And that was how I had to reconcile my own reality and experience with what I was experiencing in the present moment. And it was a rough process at first. Strange process, but so invigorating
It was
as
scary
well.
process. Yeah, scary.
And he
Can be
got to see
scary.
the other,
Yeah.
he got to see the point of view from start to finish. I was texting him along with everyone, anyone I could get through to, my wife, him, my little son, like everyone I could try and get to, would try and tell these things in just a 1,000 miles an hour at all directions at once type of way. And yeah, and I looked absolutely insane, even though I was trying to convey that I was absolutely good and I was onto something, and like something was changing for the better, but I couldn't convey it. So yeah, you got to see like the crazy clown
Yep.
show I put on there for a bit. Yeah,
I was saying, yeah, it was, yeah, well, also a scary experience, watching you. Yeah, it was also a scary experience for me. Not that it has to be for everybody, but it was for me. Yeah, it was definitely an eye-opening experience. Cause yeah, just like you had said, I went my whole life growing up, and then yep, looking outward for everything. Cause I looked up to my parents, who raised me, who were also doing the same thing. They were put in the same situations. So I grew up looking for labels, attaching myself with labels as they would fit me, I guess, as I thought they would fit me, and then just kept filling up on these labels and labels and labels and all this stuff people had said and told me. Yep, and yeah, gosh, I can't even imagine living that way. Really, like it was harmful. I could see the harm that it was doing to me and the harm that it was doing to everybody else.
yeah,
Just operating in a mindset like that.
yeah. And that, yeah, that, you know what? I was writing up, I was writing up some numbers. Like I've gotten real simple with numbers. I like the numbers now, not in the, not in this big number sense of statistics and studies and this and that. But I just want to throw a couple numbers out that the other night I jotted down was I was thinking about the overpopulation thing. All this always about overpopulation, overpopulation, and it's only because everyone's all stacked up in these ridiculous cities, like sardines, all packed together in these boxes all over the place. Is why it seems like overpopulation is a real thing. When think about all the time you see like footage of planes or trains or this and that. Even here's an example. How about the picture of the train? I think it was in Venezuela, of all the people on the train leaving, and they're just talking about overpopulation. I don't know how they spun it, but you know how things get spun. Well, look at all those in those pictures of all the vast expanse of open land. Sure, there might be a picture of a whole bunch of folks, say 1,000 folks on a train on these two train tracks, yet they're surrounded by vast open areas of forest land to where someone could stop the train, everyone could get off the train, spread out, get an area just for themselves, and be able to build a shelter, find food, and live there peacefully. Yet you want to talk like, but not you, but someone likes to talk about how, oh, it's overcrowded, we have to move people here, there, and everywhere, make stuff sustainable, make stuff resilient, blah blah blah, as things are destroyed and then rebuilt with this resiliency garbage. No, I don't mean to get all negative, but
Yeah, yeah. You don't even have to look at any pictures to see the openness of land. If you just drive anywhere, there's just land everywhere, mass amounts of open land
yeah,
everywhere. Yep.
yep. So I looked at the population. What's the population here? Somebody said it's 7.6 billion. Okay, so then I started looking at square miles and converting it to square acres and stuff. So I'm not gonna say a whole bunch of numbers, but okay. Let me try and find a. So the population of Earth supposedly 7.6 billion. Well, there's supposedly 57 million square miles of land. land. I'm not talking about underwater. And I know all places on the land aren't habitable and this and that, but you know what? I also know that we folk, human beings, whatever label you want to put on us, have the ability to, kind of adapt and live in all these different environments. So if there is 57 million square miles, that equates to 36.48 billion acres. So with a population of 7.6 billion people, that breaks down to 4.8 acres per person. 4.8 acres per person. So, if you consider that's every single person, supposedly, maybe, I don't know, I don't make up these numbers. Well, that's almost 5 acres. And if you got a family of 3, that's about 15 acres. You don't even need 15 acres to be able to just live, grow some food, live peacefully. You could live on one person's about 5 acres of family and live peacefully, and everyone could be doing the same thing, and no one will be stacked on top of each other like sardines. There's a thought. So anyway, and then I did the United States is whatever 2.9 million square miles. It works out to almost 1.9 billion acres in the contiguous United States. Not counting Alaska and Hawaii, which Alaska is ginormous, but not counting that. Just the contiguous United States, the little thing you see, on the map, with just that, not the islands. Yeah, almost 1.9 billion acres. So that adds there, that equates to yet like 1 acre on top of what the world population would have been if you just consider this country. It would be 5.8 acres. So almost 6 acres if you only consider this place. So how is it overpopulated? How? It's not. It's yet another myth. Yet another myth.
That everyone believes. Like one of many other myths that keep things working the way that they work, this suffering-based society.
Oh yeah, and you know what? To let you know, I don't believe that I don't believe there's 7.6 billion people on Earth, and I don't believe there's 57 million square miles either. You know why? Just because I can't know it for sure. So I was just relaying numbers that I found from someone else. So I can't really say that that's true or fact, because this place could be, I don't know, any size or shape. I don't know. I can't know that, and I can't know how many individuals are here. I can't know that. So I just wanted to share that, though, because that goes with numbers that were provided. And then if those are the numbers that are provided, and then also at the same time being told how it's overpopulated and this and that, well, it doesn't work.
They lie on
just
every
like
other
everything
aspect.
else.
Yeah.
Just like here's food shortages. Well, if you consider consider the tons and tons and tons of food that gets fed to enslaved animals, to feed them, to raise them, to kill them, to then be used as food. Well, if you would just let those animals go on about their daily life and business like any of us should be able to do that lives here, that can see and breathe and feel. If you just let them go and take all that food that's being grown and given to those animals that eat massive amounts only to be slaughtered, and we in turn eat those plants and vegetables, there would be an absolute overabundance of food here for everyone
already.
Right now, because it's already here. It's just being fed to these poor animals who are then later just being slaughtered. So what are we doing then? I wonder. To me, it's very obvious that I was taught very backwards in how I should look at things and what I should perceive as food, what I should perceive as sustenance, because I can tell you openly and honestly and truthfully that now when I look at any other living being, I don't see it as a potential meal. because I know that dead sentient energy is not sustenance for my body. When I have to process, when I think back, and when I think back and I feel back to what I ate and how I used to eat, and I think back and how my body, I was forcing it to process all this dead, sentient, toxic energy. Well, I see how all my sickness grew. I see how all my heart troubles happened. I see how my insides were just disgustingly broken and the cancer cells were growing and had grown. Like, I get it now. I also get that it can be healed because I've done it. And I've also healed those beliefs that make me look at other life for what it is and know that it's just a part of life, like I am here, experiencing this place like I am in a different form. Whether they, as a chicken walks into the garage, who now just hang out here because I don't eat eggs or I don't eat any of that stuff, they just hang out here. They're free to come and go as they please. There's 2 left. We have a rooster and a hen that just hangs out. They have a coop. So anyway, as she was from spending time observing them and how they communicated with each other and things like that, that really helped me gain a real deep appreciation for life again, which I had seemed to have lost for so long, or didn't fully realize in the start. I really don't know, but I can't look at them the same anymore because I know it's not food, it's not sustenance. That's not the kind of energy. To me, it's nope, it's plants. It's direct energy from the sun. The sun causes the plants to grow. I consume the plants. I consume that plant material, good energy of earth that grew from the light of the sun. That's all I need. That, along with looking at the sunlight, has helped me greatly as well, to where I can just gaze comfortably at the sun and take in those light rays. No matter what you want to call the sun or this or that or fake or whatever that light might be, okay, I get it. Who can say? I can't say. I ain't been there, type of thing. I can't reach out and touch it, and I can't get to the other side of it, so I don't know. But I know I can look comfortably at it, and I know I can feel the energy that comes from it, and I can see the electromagnetic pattern around it. I can see it in the waves as I look and I observe it. So it also helped me kind of realize how the atomic theory of things was just grossly laid upon the electromagnetic nature of this place. To me, like I said, I'm no scientist or academic or expert on any specific angular portion of this reality. I am only an expert on really getting control of myself, and just my own experiences, and that's it. And I would still, I qualify that with saying not even an expert yet, but I'm getting better. I'm getting a lot better because I'm still growing and learning constantly. I really am.
Every moment, yep.
Yep.
It's up on the side right there.
Yeah. Bam. I just gave myself and us a thumbs up. That's what I just did on the tablet right there. Yep. Here's a chicken. Let's see. I'm gonna mess this all up now, but I don't blame the chicken because that stuff's coming down. You can see up there. That's that's a lot of thick gunk. That's actually down, at this level. Well, I mean, you can see the drops, but We see the mist constantly here in the air when they spray heavily. Yep, in this constant, see, is that right? Yeah, in this constant chemical slash biological attack that we live under on a daily basis here, it seems. Why chemical and biological? Well, you could add metals too, because there's all those metals, and the metals are just part of it. But yeah, the biological, once you get into the viruses released and this and that, and you know, I mean, you could get into the nano particles too, the strands being released. You know, it's whatever. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why that folks still don't get that. Yeah, we're being sprayed like roaches, so to speak. Unless I'm just way off base here, which I hope so, because I had considered something else. That it very well could indeed have been going on for a long time and probably is right now. You know, of course, all the barium, strontium, aluminum, all the words everyone says because we all know it. Yeah, we all know what it is, all these particulates in the air. Maybe we don't all know. I'm just saying. To me, it could be easy enough to change all the stuff that's being sprayed from those into something more natural and maybe something maybe more energetically healing, not just to the atmosphere, but to life itself down here that's been inundated with all these particles and chemicals, and it's gotten into all of us and all the plant life and all the water and soil. It would seem to me there could be a better compound maybe being sprayed to create some kind of healing. You know, and if not for the environment, how about to create some kind of healing for the life that breathes in this air? How about some kind of compound that starts to heal these racing thoughts that folk have that are still under the trauma-based mind control modality of society? There's got to be something, because I found medicine to heal myself, and that was simply with the cannabis plant. So I know it must be, I know some genius out there somewhere must know and have already probably prepared some way to heal everyone. Were that to ever come around, or were that to ever able to be put out, because enough folk finally dropped their want for control over everything. You know, or what, you know, I don't know. I'm just kind of,
Yeah, that was a long one.
I'm convinced it's all changing. I'm convinced. Because I'm convinced the truth itself is a trendy thing. And folks that are speaking truthfully and honestly and openly, it's a trendy thing. And then, as soon as that's seen enough, I mean, who wouldn't wanna? Who wouldn't wanna? I figure, you know what? Who wouldn't wanna be able to see, know, and feel their own reality to its fullest, and then express it and convey it to others, to be able to actually articulate what they want to convey to another? Who wouldn't want that? I feel, you know, because once I found that, oh, there's actually a way I can actually put these words together in a way to where I'm not saying what someone else said, because it's not a repeating thought pattern of what I had heard somewhere. I can organically put my feelings now into words with the thoughts and convey those, my message of my experience or my perception or whatever it might be. I can deliver that now. And it's not based on any sort of bias, really. Not based off of anyone else's idea or concept of anything, while using all of those same ideas and concepts, just to be able to point out the flaws in some of them, especially, or to reinforce what's good in some of them. What I can see is the good truth in things. because it's not all deception. It's just all the deception has led to massive enslavement, but
And suffering.
and suffering. Yeah. Though I'm convinced that that is coming to a close, or has already. Maybe we're just trying to catch up. I really don't know. I can't say. I don't know. Yep.
I don't know what else I want to say. You pretty much covered everything I was wanting to talk about, and even deeper than I was able to do.
Ah. Shoot. Try something rather. Then just get like with the. I don't know. Talk about it. Yep. Who knows? You know what? I gotta use the bathroom though, so have at it. Have at it.
I don't know what I'm gonna say.
They already saying something. What about teaching your child?
I don't know.
So okay, so this is just something from videos and stuff, or something I heard that folk keep talking. You know the whole anthropomorphic beings, whatever, male, female, deities in one type of thing as gods, this and that. Yeah, I'm not talking about any of that kind of what another being might be, but that's the chicken talking. But all I wanted to say about that was, yeah, it was about us realizing that the divine feminine, divine masculine aspect of the creator, those two sides of the energy, male and female, that we, again, that I just wanted to say that again because to me, knowing that a source of creation made all of this and made physical man and physical woman differently so they could reproduce and make one extra being. Because of that, but because of what created this would be both. I see how the twisting with the gender stuff, and what has to be realized to me is that our physical mother and father, male, female energies had to come together to create our one energy. So within us physically is the DNA of our mother and our father. So there's male and female DNA that came together that created us. So in a sense, we are both male and female because we have those same energies. Those same energies built us into physicality from our own mother and father. And then to me, trace it back far enough to where someone had to create all this something, like the creation of this. That's the mother, father in spirit form that's combined. To me, the thing is not to take that combination of mother, father down here where we are and then start splitting people's perception of gender now, or trying to combine them into this unnatural other sort of being that nature did not create, that the creator did not create, that is, unless that is that anomaly in how some folk are born with both. And that's different. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the idea of gender being linked to those very real spiritual masculine and feminine energies that combine within us that make us who we are. So, okay, to go for, I'm just gonna talk some stuff first. So, like the father, then. So, father, thought, reason, whatever. The father, the light, the sun. To me, yes, that's the temple. That's the thought up here in the temple that gets this expansive consciousness and gets things. That's the masculine, you could say, even though it's still you can go masculine, feminine with the sides. But just to put it even more simply, the more masculine aspect of that, looking for the father, you know, the father. Everyone talks about the father, the creator. Well, that's fine too, as long as the mother is also considered in the heart, in the house, on earth, on this plane, in physicality, the nurturing, the mother, the divine feminine. If those two, the heart and the care, if the heart and the care center aren't tied together here, feet on the ground, fully in the moment, the father up here with all this vast consciousness is going to run amok. It's going to run amok with reason and logic that is, in a lot of times, just nonsensical because it's not linked up to truth, the truth of life and nature, in a way as to not cause harm. So, yeah. So I wanted to say that that's important to me. Is that clean the temple, clear your temple. You fill your own temple with your own thoughts and organic knowledge. Fill that temple with your own wisdom throughout all the energy from all the way down your spine, all the way back up through all your past experience up to the present moment. Fill your temple with that, because that is yours. That's yours, and no one else can tell you different. Not now, because it's past. Now it's gone. It's illusion, except for in you. It's still very real. It's in your DNA. It's what will combine and activate your DNA to wake up, to start to remember itself. Because those pieces that are disjointed and disconnected aren't junk. Nature doesn't make junk, does it? Does it make sense that we would be filled with so many strands of DNA that scientists call junk DNA? Does that make sense? That's all very real, very connected DNA trying to work and trying to activate. All it has to do is be realized. And belief will keep that DNA suppressed at the genetic level, which to me relates directly, energetically to the cosmic level and to the infinite level. Because if a being here in creation that has been created is suppressed to that point, it is cut off. It is cut off from the creator at that point, and it's running amok, short-circuiting on repeating thought patterns of belief or incorrect feelings or incorrect emotion. To me, that's the thing to stop. It's to stop those, stop running around, stop all of that. Sit centered, feel your energy inside. Feel all the different energies and how they combine, because we're not just one energy. We make up one individual, but we are one individual that's a combination of, likely, I figure, all the energies of nature in whatever specific combination or order it was put together to make our bodies and our minds and our consciousness, and gives us the ability to feel these things and filled with spirit. To me, that's what's going on here, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Now I'm out of coffee. You feel like talking about something now while I get coffee?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna stop mine.
Okay, I was gonna say I could stop it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. No one's watching now. No one watches. That's all right. Sometimes people watch. It's pretty cool. Thanks, Nana. I saw your comments that one time on the mirror. I just couldn't read it. So anyway, yeah. Thank you for whoever watches, and I hope it helps. We'll probably just try to do more of talking like this
Yeah, yeah.
or something. Yeah. All right. So I appreciate it. All right.
Let's start mine too. I don't know if I'm gonna use mine.